Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the farm here in Calmlands. This is the IH Dairy Farm, and I hate to do it, but I'm going to do one of those annoying YouTuber things, and I'm going to say that if you are subscribed to the channel, then you will have already seen uh, some of our future plans, and it has to do with that little farm over there. I'm going to go ahead and tab over to show you what I mean. Oops, that was where I wanted to be in that truck. So over here, as you know, we have this empty shed, but we have right now some Black Angus beef cows. And I did a community vote, and people voted for this to turn into a heifer and calf farm. So let me show you what's going on. If we come up here to our animal pen, you can see that these Holsteins are uh, well, they're out of water right now, but once I get the water back up, they will continue advancing this reproduction and then they will have calves. So once those calves are born, we're going to bring those over here and we will sell off these, we'll sell off these Black Angus. So if you want to be able to participate in the decision making for this save as well as the John Deere save and maybe even other saves that haven't even started yet, but you want to, take part in that, please do subscribe to the channel. As if you've been around for a while, I don't ask for stuff like that very often. I don't beg for likes. I don't, beg for attention. I just want you to know what the value is that you get out of it. You get to participate in that. And honestly, I was on the fence as to whether I wanted to do that or not, and it was a conclusive vote that people wanted me to do it, so I'm 100% going to do it. It looks like we need to top off the water for the cows, and then we'll be able to, hopefully in a month. Well, it might be 2 months from now, but hopefully they'll give birth to their calves, and we can take the calves over there. So if you watched the last episode, you'll know we are in the process right now of getting this field into the silo. Basically, all this grass is going to go in for silage, and then we need to finish this field straight ahead of us for we need to get the cultivating done over there, and then we need to get the straw off of the little barley field over there. So we have quite a bit to do. I'm going to get as much done as I can in a realistic episode length. I know that some people, that was another thing I put on a survey, was I asked how long people like their videos, and I was actually very surprised at the number that do prefer longer videos. So, there was a long time that I thought nobody wants to watch somebody play Farming Simulator for 25 or 30 minutes, but it turns out you guys do like that. You like getting to be able to settle into the story of the farm. And this one, we're coming up on the complete first year. It's taken several episodes to get here, but look at all we've built. We put in all these buildings. This started off as nothing. There wasn't a single building here. If you go back to episode number 1, I built the barn and the house in that first episode. So, if this is the kind of thing you like to watch, you like to watch the story of the farm unfold, then I think you've come to the right place. That's what I like to do here. I know there are other YouTubers, farm sim YouTubers, that are going to do a bunch of jump cuts and say, here's the stuff that I am going to do off stream, or here's a bunch of stuff that I don't think you care about. And that might be the case for some viewers, but my desire is to kind of play it all out and let you see what it looks like. I will only skip over things if it's just, hours and hours of doing the same thing. But so if you're not familiar, this is an old Farmall H that we're using here. This is available in the in-game mod hub, so even if you're on console, you can use this tractor. The rake, I believe, is PC only at this point. It's a New Holland 258. This is a mod that I've had in my collection both on FS22 as well as FS19 for a really long time. I like it a lot, as you might be able to tell. That's why I keep using it. And I think it's a really, really perfect for this vintage setup. For those of you that might be new to the channel as a result of this video, thank you and welcome. I'm glad to have you here. And all the farms that I've put on this channel in the last, let's say, year and a half probably have all, well, that's not entirely true. I guess the the horse farm wasn't really vintage, but these two, the two main ones that I'm running with now, as well as the Ford farm that I had going for a little bit, have all been vintage. So I think that's what I'm going to stick with as my kind of signature. I really enjoy working with the older equipment. So if you guys run across vintage mods that you think would work out, let me know. I'm the thing is, there's a lot of vintage tractors. Okay, so whatever brand you're into, you can find vintage tractors. But what I struggle to find is vintage equipment. Um, a disc, a harrow, cultivator, those kinds of things. There's a fair number of them, but a lot of them are not American. And, it doesn't have to be strictly American, but I don't want, you know, things that are very obviously like Eastern Bloc of the Soviet Union circa 1975. That wouldn't be on a Midwestern American farm in the late 80s, early 90s. It just wouldn't. So I'm looking for things that seem like a realistic fit for the rest of the playthrough. And I know some of you are like, well, what the heck? You're using Calmlands. That's a European map. Why are you doing that? Well, I'm doing it because I played No Man's Land on 19 and I wanted a nice big open map that I could make my own world. And Calmlands was out at the time that I started to save, basically. And if you look at it, the rolling hills, we could definitely imagine that those hills in the background there are kind of Appalachian, that kind of thing. You could reasonably assume that this farm is in southern Ohio, for example, or uh, northern Kentucky, or maybe even southern Indiana, somewhere like that. Uh, I think that's a realistic geography for what we're doing here. I'm not talking, when I say Midwest, I don't mean like Kansas and Nebraska Midwest. I mean more like Great Lakes Midwest. I know out ahead that way, the mountains do look a little bit more intimidating, a little bit more than just hills, but I don't think it's so extreme that the farm is not believable. And then I made a list the other day of some other maps that have come out that I would like to try. My issue with having too many farms going on the channel is I'm afraid people will get lost in the storylines, They'll be like, oh, there's too much coming out. I don't want to watch everything. I know for most of you, I'm not the only farm sim YouTuber you're going to be watching. So if you, if I put out too much stuff, I know that this happens to me where sometimes there'll be a YouTuber that puts out like a video every day, and I'm like, gosh, I can't keep up with that. So I'll just pick one or two of their series and watch that and not watch the rest of it. So since I have two going right now, when I did the poll on that, I had some people say that oh, hold on. I had some people say that they wanted me to just keep it at two, and I had some people say they wanted more. Somewhat optimistically, nobody said do less. I did make that an option, and nobody said do less, so that makes me feel good. But I have an idea for a farm using, and this is like, top secret. I haven't announced this on the channel or anything, but I'll tell you guys that are sticking around, still watching me raking grass at the 9:45 mark. Um, I'm thinking about doing a farm with some old school case, not Case IH, but like JI case, like old school case. The like cream-colored old school case tractors. There's a few of them out there, and I would keep it small. Maybe do like a chicken farm or something like that. You know, something very small. There aren't any case harvesters, so I would have to probably use a Case IH harvester. But, you know, these are the kinds of things that I like to putz around with and brainstorm and eventually get another farm going with that. So we're going to do half of this field right now, and the other half I don't know. We'll see how much we end up with in the silo when we do this half for our silage. We may do that other half in hay, or we may do the whole field in silage right now. When I get done with this, I'm actually going to hop over and fill the water. I usually do that off recording, but I'll let you guys see how I fill the water. Since the milk tank is empty, I could actually use the big truck for the water this time rather than the little white one. So I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably do the little white one anyways, just to keep it a little more realistic. That big truck, trying to get that down in there just to fill their water doesn't feel super realistic to me. I mean, you could. If we take it down there to get the milk, then we certainly could take it down there to give them water, but I do like that some farms in this game actually have the water plumbed in. I feel like that's pretty realistic for most 20th century farms, right? Most people aren't going to be trucking in water for their cows. They're going to have it plumbed in, especially when we've got a house and a barn. You know, why would you plumb in the house and not plumb in the barn? It's like 200 yards away. That seems a little bit silly to me. But that's not an easy thing to do with mods, basically. Um, if it's part of the map design initially, then obviously it is what it is. It's already there. But because this particular save is all custom built, I can't easily make that happen. So I know grass work can tend to be repetitive, but this is a dairy farm, and the primary work that you do on a dairy farm is feed the cows and milk the cows. And we don't actually have a way to simulate milking cows, so a lot of it is on the crop side of things for making their food. And I've made TMR. That's Total Mixed Ration. I've made TMR on the channel many times. So if you haven't seen that yet, you can find an episode, I'm sure. But we will be doing plenty of that throughout the year. I'm glad the rain stopped. If you saw the last episode, we had a downpour. I ended up having to quit this job part way in. So it's a little bit unrealistic that I would keep doing this in the same in-game day, but you have to remember that we're simulating an entire month with this day. So there's no way that a farm in the Midwest would spend the entire month of July without putting any food up, right? Without putting any grass up. We would at least do one cut. I probably should have done a cut in June, if we're being honest. But this is going to be our July cut. We'll get part of the field for silage, and we'll check our status after that. We do have a fair bit of hay already, so we may not need it. And even though the cows are going to reproduce, I don't think it will be, effectively doubling our amount of food intake. I don't think, anyways. All right, let's see. Is the tanker over there? No, tanker is up this way. No tractor on it, though. So what do we have? 1206 is hanging out there. Let's do this. Let's get this hay wagon out of here because it's in the way. and then we can use this tractor. All right, let's maybe not go warp speed with this tractor. That doesn't look like it should hit to me. I'm very confused right now. We're gonna try this again. Sorry for ruining your immersion. I was so sure that I was gonna make it that I didn't slow down, and that was a problem. So this feels centered to me, and it's fine. Okay. We will take this over. I need to use that 86 again. I haven't used it in so long. I'll go ahead and drop this off up here behind the baler so that when we get to this job, we'll have it ready. Go ahead and swing our partner round and round here. Okay. Probably should do that job next. Just too much to do, you know? But we like it. We like it that there's a lot to do. Keeps us coming back for more. This is kind of silly to do this job with this big tractor because we should be doing it with like the 460 or something. It's like the perfect size for this job. So we'll put one of these tanks in each side. And that'll get us through a day or two, a month or two. Okay, that's milk, and this one over here is water. So for whatever reason, I guess it wants the back of the machine on the icon. I don't know. I don't know why it's that way. Maybe I should tidy up this area. You know, it's been bumpy pretty much since the start of the series. Maybe it's time to roleplay bringing in a skid steer, you know? Level it off and make it look good. At very least, it should be smoother than it is. That's the thing about using the placeables. Like, obviously the pastures that the cows are in down there are placeables, and it's always hard to know how it's gonna auto level and that kind of thing. So we make do. You know how it goes when you play a game like this. The mods are so cool, but it never quite works out exactly how I want it to. Okay, here we go. Like, for example, I know I said this in the last episode, but for example, the slurry pit that I put in. I don't know how to make it automatically see these cows, you know, and work with these cows. Just, I don't know. All right, so we got that done. I mean, it's not done. We should do a whole other load, I'm sure. Let's take a look. So the Holsteins, yeah, the water's here. So they could use a little bit more. And then, why is the reproduction shut down on this one? They have TMR and they have water. I don't get it. Are they older? They're younger. Is that why? I thought I bought them at the same time. But maybe, you know what? Maybe I bought... I don't know. I don't get it. It doesn't matter. Wrong button. Let's unhook that. And let's, I think what I'm going to do is put this over here. Oh, by the way, I may be replacing that cedar for this planting season. Might have maybe found an IH one. We'll see. But we're going to put that on there. And I think to finish our time in this episode, I'm going to run the M. I didn't really get to run this very much last episode, and I kind of want to, so pretty cool old machine. I'm going to go around, maybe. I'm going to try to go around this way. We'll have to fix that spot that I missed there. But I want to make ourselves a little bit more room down here to turn around. Boy, this feels like a pretty sweet operation. Well, if you've been playing this game for a long time like I have, like way back to 2015 or even before that, the thought that we would ever have this quality vintage Farmall gear in the game is just kind of great. I used to leave comments in forums and stuff and say, if we can have modern Case IH, why can't we have vintage stuff? You know, just didn't make sense to me. But my hope is that now that this stuff is in the mod hub, that we'll have it for future versions of the game as well. I hope that Giants will see the stats on this stuff. You know, they have to look at the stats on their mods, and they have to see like, oh wow, this old school equipment does really well, especially in North America. People really like to play with this stuff. Don't get me wrong, I like to buy a brand new $500,000 tractor and do some cool stuff with it. But these vintage playthroughs just have a different kind of satisfying feeling to them. Just putzing along. Should bring the plow out and fix these couple spots that I missed. I said should do, not gonna do. I wonder if this needs lime. Yeah. Does it say anything about the weeds when I come back here? Yeah, so it does get rid of the weeds. I don't really do rolling, so... But the lime I should do. We need to get a lime silo and spreader. Wonder if there's any good vintage lime spreaders. We have a sprayer for fertilizer, but we don't have any kind of spreader for lime. The base game has those Bradle, I don't know how to pronounce it, has those ones, but those feel pretty modern to me. Even if we found an old school one that was a different brand, I could make it work. I would rather not have something super modern. The water tank we just used is like the most modern thing on the whole farm. Come on, turn. Sometimes the steering is so delayed on this, I wonder if it's manual steering. like realistic. You got to get those little balls you put on the steering wheel, you know? Put the little ball on and rotate it around. I'm gesturing at the camera as if the camera is on and you could see me, but you know those ones that you rotate, spin it real fast? Not so much for a wide front end, but for the tricycle front ends. Those are real fun. Pretty impressive this thing moves along at 9 miles an hour. I feel like that's... Would you cultivate at 9 miles an hour in real life? Seems like that'd be a reasonable speed. I guess it would depend what kind of soil you were in, right? Thicker, like sticky soil, you might not be able to go that fast. But a field like this, I think, would be fine because we just had a crop in it. So you're really just teasing the topsoil after the last crop, busting up the stubble, grain stubble. So we'll figure out a lime solution. We'll spread some lime on it. And then I think there's a Vicon lime, well, it's not just for lime, but there's a Vicon spreader, I think, in the game that could potentially work for vintage. Tell you what, if anybody's watching this that knows of one that's actually properly vintage, please do leave a comment. I'll see if I can go scare it up. Those kind of spreaders aren't necessarily like super modern and technical unless you're running a full modern setup with like precision farming, but most of them I would assume are probably just mechanical, right? Gravity fed with a disc to spread a disc that spins based on either rotation of the wheels or PTO. I don't actually know for sure. I love this simple little setup. I just do. I just love it. It's very calming, very relaxing. But before I do the lime on this and get this planted with something new, I want to finish the baling on that field and then extend that field all the way to the tree line. So I think I said in a previous episode I'm going to call these the twin fields because they're going to both be over here with essentially the same function. I don't know if I'll plant them in something else next year, but I think some of the like soybeans and corn you plant pretty late in the season, so I don't think we're past them yet, are we? Oh, we are. We're past corn and soybeans. What am I thinking? Oh, maybe I'm thinking wheat and barley are fall crops. Canola would be interesting. Could do a canola run. And I never do cover crop, but that could be something to do on this farm. Usually I don't do a cover crop because I usually only have a couple fields. But we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 essentially, if you count the little sunflower field across the street. So 6 if you count the hay field. And I still don't know if I want to plow the hay field in or just keep it like meadow grass. Alright. See if picking it up helps us get a tighter turn here. We'll go get this done. I don't know about you guys, but I do not trust those clouds. The little weather forecast on this thing says it's going to be fine. It says sunny, but if this was real life and the clouds are that gray, I don't know that I'd be super optimistic about getting my straw baled. Dang crows. I swear I'm going to make a BB gun mod. When you see crows in the field, you'll be able to bust out your BB gun and take a shot at them. Alright, sorry that was a little lazy, but see if we can get these last couple little bits up here. Grab that one. Grab that one. This big old chunk right there. Alrighty. Well, I like it. I like it. I like the setup. I like the new tractor, the new old tractor. A little bit small for some of our bigger fields, but perfect for these couple smaller ones over here. Definitely. I'm just gonna go ahead and park it in this shed for now, and will it fit? Okay, I'm not gonna park it in this shed. Alright, I will sort that out and see you all in the next episode. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Bluebelly, and on this save, on this channel, I play Farming Simulator. Bye for now.